This week on Healthy Living, we shed a light on menstrual health and hygiene as millions of women and girls worldwide lack access to needed tools. Kenyan gynecologist Dr. Douglas Mwaniki shares some insights and best practices for menstrual hygiene. Plus, in our Changemakers segment, Liberian social entrepreneur and activist Lovetta Qualah is raising awareness about period poverty. These stories and more in this edition of Healthy Living. Hello, I'm Linoch Moudou. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Healthy Living. It is a critical issue impacting women and girls across the world, menstrual health and hygiene. Every month, nearly 1.8 billion women and girls worldwide menstruate. However, millions lack the proper tools and information, according to the United Nations. A 2023 report by UNICEF reveals that about 1 in 10 girls in sub-Saharan Africa missed school during their menstrual cycle due to lack of access to hygiene products and proper sanitation facilities. We start in South Sudan, where female students from 2 primary schools in a camp for displaced people in Juba have received dignity kits to help them continue their studies without interruption.
Across South Sudan, young women encounter numerous barriers to education. The problems include conflict, poverty, cultural impediments such as early marriage, a shortage of skilled teachers, and the destruction of infrastructures. Additionally, the lack of access to basic hygiene products means many of them cannot attend while menstruating.
Women, we are all unique in a special way. One aspect of life is our menstrual health. Menstrual health hinder most of us in education. But Days for Girls came up with a kit that supports the girls in school.
Days for Girls is a non-profit organization that prepares and distributes sustainable menstrual health solutions for girls who would otherwise miss out on school during their menstruation. The kits are washable, reusable, and last an average of 3 years.
These kits really means a lot to us because they can help us during our menstruation period, and mostly for sure I have been missing schools due to the infection of the menstruation. I lack pads, but now that I have them, I am so happy and so much excited.
Experts say children born to an educated mother have a 50% higher chance of survival. The risks of child marriage and early pregnancy are also lower when girls are in school. Yet the largest group of children out of school in South Sudan are girls.
Let us not disappoint the group that has come today. If they come next time, let them find us in school, not in our house, carrying children. Let us study, my girls. I'm here to support the girls.
The students appreciate everyone's support as they're able to attend classes at all times and work toward a better and brighter future.
Dr. Douglas Mwaniki is a gynecologist at Kenyatta Hospital and Nazareth Hospital in Nairobi, Kenya. He shares some insight and best practice on menstrual health and hygiene.
During the flow of the menstrual period, we have what is normal and what is not normal. What is normal is variable for different women, but we have a flow for 2 to 8 days. And we expect during those 2 to 8 days for someone to lose about 20 mils to 80 mLs. Usually the pH that the vagina is supposed to have, which we expect the pH to be slightly acidic, around the range of around 3.5 to 4.5. At this pH, we have the vaginal odor being not foul smelling, and we have the vaginal discharge being one that can protect the woman against infections. Gynecologists tend to recommend use of sanitary products during menses, so that to improve hygiene. Some of the common sanitary products we have are the menstrual cup. The menstrual cup is the most recommended. We also recommend sanitary towels. The sanitary towels or the pads. We prefer the cotton pads. Menstrual hygiene and drinking water are related in that drinking water improves your overall health of the body. If you don't do proper cleaning, there are several health repercussions you are going to have. You may have the recurrent bacterial infections. And so what you'll end up having is it creates an opportunity for other infections to grow. The main thing about menstrual hygiene, especially for Africa, is menstrual poverty, where we have many people not being able to afford the pads. I think the government should intervene in the menstrual hygiene to keep the young girls in school. I think there should be providing the pads every month may not be as feasible because of running out of supplies, and during the time the supplies run out, the girls may be out of school. The key thing will be the government should introduce comprehensive education for the young girls so that they understand the menstrual pattern.
Do you think there is enough education on menstrual hygiene in schools and communities? And how challenging is it to access and afford menstrual hygiene products? Here are some reactions from Nigeria.
I do not think that there is enough. I think there's a reasonable number of people doing a lot of things around, creating awareness towards period poverty or menstrual hygiene education or menstrual hygiene management. There is a prevailing culture of silence because menstruation is something that is seen as something that is to be hidden. And because of that, a lot of girls are being cheated from having enough education and awareness about how to take care of themselves, what to do when they see their period. A lot of girls, in fact, the first time they see their period, they do not know anything about it.
Growing up in my community, menstruation is already seen as a topic that is not supposed to be discussed. So a lot of people see menstruation as a taboo or as a shameful topic to talk about outside.
One of the best way we can tackle this is from the informal settings of education. For instance, if I'm from a home that is full of guys and I'm the only girl, I won't feel safe to discuss those things with my brother. Why? Because I have a mother who talks to me about these menstrual issues. And then I have a female teacher in school who talks to me about this menstrual issue. But then when you have male teachers as basic science teachers, they also enlighten the other counterpart, the other gender, about this menstrual thing, so that they won't shame the girls. Because most times when your clothes or your school uniform is being stained and your seatmate is a guy, you won't feel safe to stand up in the class to go and change. But when they understand that, okay, this is a normal thing, it's something that is being created by God, and they will assist you even with their jackets to cover up.
I would say it's easily accessible, but affordable, it is not affordable at all. For even someone like me that I have a job, I can say that when I go to buy menstrual products, I still complain like, why are the prices so high?
As for the accessibility of the pads, government and policymakers have to look into this, because if you look at things, yeah, I know that condoms are more cheaper, and then they are being given free in school. I'm not saying they should give it out for free, but then they can slash down the price so that people from other areas can be able to afford this.
A public-private partnership in Kenya is providing female students with free sanitary napkins that are dispensed from converted ATMs at school. The goal is to provide students from poor families with sanitary pads so they do not have to miss school because they are menstruating. Victoria Amunga reports from Nairobi.
Often female students in Kenya who come from poor families are forced to miss school during menstruation because the price of sanitary pads out of reach. But the Kenyan aid group called Slum Sana launched an initiative at a Nairobi high school in May that provides free pads for female students. Here is how they're dispensed to students at schools. Each girl is given a special card they can use at an ATM machine that has been converted to dispense sanitary pads.
Each girl is allocated at least 8 to 16 pads per cycle, meaning every time they want to use the pads, they can be able to do that as long as they have their cards.
The Kenyan government says studies show girls from poor families miss 20% of school days each year because they do not have sanitary pads. The pad dispenser machine can hold up to 36 pads and run on solar power in remote areas, says Munira Twahir, the creator of what's called ARI, the pad ATM.
Technology is very important in solving these problems, especially in the space that we're in, which is menstrual health management. There's not a lot of hardware technology or hybrid technology to solve it. So I think this allows for students to have autonomy, so we cut off the middleman.
Officials say the initiative is being implemented in Nairobi and they hope to expand it to other parts of the country too. Quinta Atieno is one of the about 1,200 students who officials say have a pad dispenser card.
It's going to help us maintain being in school. Now you see most of our parents are not going to be required to buy the sanitary pads themselves since it's easily accessible in school.
Activists are pressing Kenya to waive taxes on sanitary pads to lower the cost. Victoria Amunga, VOA News, Nairobi.
A UNESCO report says that 1 in 10 girls in Africa miss or drop out of school because of lack of access to menstrual products. Referred to as period poverty, this global issue affects girls in mostly poor communities. In Liberia, Lovetta Qualah, a social entrepreneur and activist, is raising awareness about the problem while advocating and educating young women on how to overcome the challenge. Jackson Vungani has more.
In Liberia, like many developing countries, poverty and a lack of access to menstrual hygiene products has forced many young girls to skip school. Lovetta Qualah, a social entrepreneur and alumni of the Mandela Washington Fellowship Program for Young African Leaders, or YALI, says that she knows what that's like.
I am not unfamiliar with the ills of not being able to afford menstrual products and the adverse health issues that it can have on a young person's life, a young woman's life, that can also persist well into her adult life.
Rather than be defeated by the situation, which Qualah says subjects girls to severe health risks, social stigma, and social isolation, she founded Positive Actions Driving Safety that goes by the acronym PADS. It's a mentorship initiative to combat period poverty by supplying young girls with sanitary products every month. Cisse Hesu, a school counselor at the Alexander B. Cummings Model Science and Technology School in Painesville in Monrovia, says lack of proper menstrual products makes young girls nervous and ashamed of having a period, and many want to stay at home.
I have seen over the years working with adolescent young people that whenever they are at that point, they stay away from social gatherings. When you delve in with them a little more, it turns out that they don't have pads. So they feel embarrassed to be around people and they rather just stay home.
Kitura Ganeo joined PADS for Girls when she was 17 years old and currently works as a volunteer and peer mentor.
I used to come to school, I used to bring tissue, but sometimes I bring the tissue away. The tissue can be big to the extent I can't even walk. I used to be embarrassed, and I used to come to school constantly because of that. Anytime on my period, I could stay home because it used to embarrass me.
Qualah says she has seen the impact PADS has made in young girls' lives and is urging governments and community organizations to put more effort in addressing period poverty and promoting menstrual health and dignity for all women and girls in Africa.
Jackson Vungani, Voice of America, Washington, D.C.
That's our show for today. For more health news, wellness tips, and medical breakthroughs, stay connected to Voice of America at voaafrica.com. You can follow me on X at Linoch Nudu. Until next time, stay well and strive to make every day a healthy day.